Thank you for your interest in my audiobook, Affairs of the Heart, God's Messages to the World, which was previously available exclusively to our soldiers through my donation at Songs and Stories for Soldiers. I'm excited to announce that Affairs of the Heart audiobook is currently available to everyone on iTunes and Audible. I hope you will enjoy and be inspired by the short segment from the book, which is helping readers repair relationships, broken hearts, and renew their faith in God.
Preface. In the fall of 2007, I felt such a low in my life. My marriage was failing, I was no longer enjoying my job, and I felt lost about the direction for my future. My soul was troubled. I was floundering. It seemed I couldn't go another day feeling this emptiness. There were so many questions about my purpose here on earth that I couldn't answer. I needed to find myself. I needed to search for a deeper, richer meaning to my life, because up till that time, I was totally unfulfilled. I knew that God had made me a giving person, and I wanted to give. But the more I gave, the more people took and took and took from me until my soul was drained. I knew this could not go on anymore, and I prayed for direction. Because I had a history with God providing answers to me when I prayed for them, I decided to go to my church and sit in silence and hopefully gain some insight. To my surprise, what I got was far beyond what I ever anticipated or was asking for. With the peacefulness and comfort that St. Veronica Church afforded me, I stood before the wooden, carved statue of Jesus, who seemed to look upon me with welcoming eyes. All the candles on both sides of the statue were lit, emitting a warming red glow, and the rays of the sun through the stained glass windows bathed the darkened church with multifaceted colors of soft light. I looked up to Jesus and began crying as I spoke my concerns in silence. As with all of my communication since childhood, I did not use my voice. I expressed my thoughts in my mind. I waited quietly to hear God's response. I can best analogize this process of divine communication to recounting a movie to others. We first hear the words and see the images in our mind when organizing the story. When God spoke to me in the confines of my mind, He urged me to start bringing a pad on which to take notes, because this would be a lengthy process. I rarely questioned Him in the past, but on that day I needed to ask Him why. He concisely informed me that I was to write down His messages and inspirations to share with the world. He said I was His intercessor, one whom, through prayer, intervenes for another. He further explained that the transcriptions would be made into the book He had, years prior, told me I would be writing, and which He had entitled Affairs of the Heart. I must confess that when He previously informed me of this title, I thought the book was going to be about human love stories. Little did I know it would be on divine passion, God's intense love for us, and His desire to prevent us from destruction. It was to be a book about ourselves, our families, our communities, our countries, and our world as we know it. I was overwhelmed and frightened. This was a huge responsibility put on me, and I wasn't sure He chose the right person. The situation felt surreal. The Lord was challenging me to step outside the box, out of my comfort zone, which required me to set aside my fear of failure and ridicule by non-believers and do exactly as I was instructed. I remember crying and looking up to the ceiling saying, "Why me, Lord? I am with faults, imperfect, not worthy to be chosen for such an important task." He responded, You are to be a guide, which will allow others to find their way. Who am I to say no? And so I began my love affair with the Lord. From that day forward, I went to church nearly every day for approximately 3 months, receiving God's messages at St. Veronica Church. Day after day, week after week, month after month, my love for Him grew deeper and deeper. I would awake every morning with such excitement, looking forward to my time with Him. Some days I would run so fast to stand before the statue of Jesus that God's voice would boom in my ears. "Slow down, Janice. Just stop. Pause. Slow down." I could hear the love in His voice as a child might hear a parent caringly speak a command. I could tell He was pleased with my enthusiasm, yet He knew I needed to learn how to slow down at times and just pause. Our visits varied in time, from half an hour to hours. In high school, I learned how to write shorthand, and it came in quite handy, because at times He would speak so quickly that I would ask Him to slow down. He would just laugh and tell me I could keep up and keep writing. There were also times when I would think we were done, close my journal, and start to leave, when I'd hear the smile in His voice as He would say, and quite often I might add, "Janice, we're not done yet." When we were done with each daily session, I couldn't wait to get home to transcribe all my notes onto the computer. I had started to share some of the daily messages with a few people, and gradually I had a small group of family and friends looking forward to receiving His daily word via email. Their testimonies were inspiring, and that encouraged me to stay on the path God chose for me. My many journals from the daily sessions took me on a journey, an unexpected pilgrimage. I embraced becoming closer to Him. I soon realized He wasn't just my best friend. He was my mentor, my Savior, and the love of my life. For the first time ever, a moment of clarity came over me. I had always loved God. However, I had never been in love with God. Truly loved Him more than anything on this earth. I am blessed to be a part of the Word of the Lord and thankful that He trusts me to deliberately and honestly transcribe His Word. It is an honor to be chosen as His vessel to pass these messages on to you. God is the most glorious, loving, wonderful, humorous, concerned overseer of His people, His community of worshipers. These messages are universal, all-inclusive, and all-embracing. They are for all mankind to share. It is never too late to open your hearts to love, compassion, and unity. Let His words lead us and educate us. In its most simplistic form, these words represent the grace He sheds upon us. It is that same grace that He lovingly asks us to share with one another. Please read, absorb, follow, instill, and spread His glorious statements throughout mankind, for without God we are nothing. He asks us to listen. He keeps saying to me, "Now is the time." And I hear the urgency in His voice. Since receiving and transcribing His word for this book, I have found more peace than ever before and more moments of clarity. I am the calmest I have ever been, and I look forward to each day's new surprises, miracles, and messages. But most of all, I look forward to world peace. This has been an inspiring time of growth for me, and I hope you will feel the same after reading this book. As God said to me, "Expect the unexpected. Now is the time. Be prepared." Are you?